everyone, Kaylee from Rock and Roll Camp for Girls here to show you how to set up your drum set. So the first thing you're going to want to make sure is that you either have your set going on a carpet or, as I have here, an old dirty rug. You can also use a yoga mat or any sort of rug, really, something that is going to keep your set from sliding around. If you put your set on a hard floor, guaranteed it will move around and it will be really annoying. So make sure you have a rug or your drum is on carpet. So the first thing we're going to put together is your seat, your drum throne. It has one of these doohickeys. Normally it has like a loosener you have to loosen first, mine doesn't. But you want to make the 3 legs come out. So you pull them all. Make sure you're pulling on all the legs. Sometimes if you're only pulling on 2, it's really hard. But then when you loosen the other one, oh, it pops out. So make sure you're putting pressure on all 3. It'll make it a lot easier for you to open those legs. So there we go. Boom! Legs open. Got my seat. We're gonna put this into the throne base. Make sure it's loose. Boom. Tighten it up so it grabs. And my seat, when it's tight, can go higher. See, it's rising. Or lower. Has a mechanism in there that you can adjust that way, so it's lowering now. I like it a little bit higher. Some of your seats have that. Most of them don't, some of them do, so that's something to know. I like to take this and just put it to the side out of the way. Next, go ahead and do the hi-hat so we can get this together another way. So again here, we're going to want to loosen these 3 legs. We got this pedal bob dangling. You can let it dangle for now. So all 3 legs, pull them open. Also helps kind of push it down into the ground like that. Make sure it's stable. Tighten those legs. And then you're going to want to make sure that these little prongs are popped into the holes on your hi-hat stand. So you probably can't see them. There's holes on either sides. So I'm going to squeeze it, make it smaller, boop, and then feed it into these holes. There we go. So now it's stable, attached to the stand. That's good to go. You're going to want to make sure you have a pad at the bottom, and we do on this one. We're good to go. Get our hi-hat. Pair of hi-hats always has a top and a bottom. I feel like the bottom is sometimes heavier. Another way to tell is that it has a lot less hit marks. So see, that's pretty clean. And this one, the top, is a lot more faded. So that's the top because it's been hit. So the bottom we can go ahead, put through, set it on that pad. Then with our top, we have to put the clutch around it. So this is basically like 2 pads with 2 screws. Oh, I dropped it. There it is. You want to make sure that your cymbal is stuck in between 2 pads. So we'll take the top and screw this pad and the bottom screw here. Take the cymbal top, boop, right through. Put the other pad on. Then we're going to screw this screw in so it doesn't move. Righty-tighty. If you want something to be tight, turn it right, turn it right. Want it left? That's loose. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Remember that. All right. So, we've got our cymbal now attached to our clutch. Make sure this bolt or the screw is loose. I'm going to feed it over the hi-hat. And then we're going to push down on the pedal a little bit, tighten this screw, and that'll give us our lift for our hi-hat there. Alright, I'm just going to set this out of the way now. Next we'll do our snare drum. So you gotta stand like this. Looks like a claw. First things first, we want to get our legs down. So loosen that. Pull all three of those legs out. Now, here's a little tip. Especially if you're a short person. I'm pretty short. I usually keep my legs out pretty flat. The more out and flat your legs are, the lower your stand is gonna sit. So if you put this together and your legs are like high up and the snare is too high and you can't go any lower, flatten your legs out. It'll give you maybe about an inch. But I'm gonna put them about there. So tighten those legs. Now, you wanna open up this claw. There we go, she's open. Now how this works is you're gonna set the snare drum with the snare side down, so that little metal strip on the bottom. You're gonna tighten it by turning. There's usually a little doohickey like this at the bottom of the claw, and that makes the claw open and close around your snare. So we'll go ahead and put our snare on there and tighten it up. And righty-tighty, lefty-loosey doesn't always work on these claw mechanisms, so it might do the opposite. Just turn it till you see it fitting. Make sure your drum is inside the little claw prongs, so we're good. Now I'm going to turn that little doohickey, tighten it up. Now it's grabbing the snare so that the snare won't move around. You want to make sure that the claw is holding it tightly. So I can pick it up and do this, and it's secure. Now with the snare drum, the little metal strips there, so it gives it its special sound. But you can turn that off. There's a switch on the drum, so if you don't want the snare to be on, turn that snare off and you got a snareless drum there. Back on. Alright, so we got our snare ready. I'm going to put that out of the way. Next, we're going to do the floor tom. So that's this big boy. Got the floor tom here. Two of my legs are already on just to save time. But these little legs, you're going to want to put these on in each side. Make sure the top of the drum is laid down. You know it's the top because it has a lot more beat marks. It's been hit, whereas this side is totally clean. So I know that's the bottom. Also, the logo. You can tell which way is the top by the logo. Logo's upside down. Here's the top. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright. This little screw on the side, these little holes, that's where these legs go. Loosen those screws, put that leg in. You're going to want to put them pretty low to start with. There we go. We're going to tighten it up. Make sure the leg is pointing out, not like in like that or something. It would make it unstable. So it's nice and tight. I've got all three of my legs on and pointing outwards. So it's ready to go. We'll flip it over. Put it in the corner where it's going to go. Over there. Alright. Next up, we'll do the big bass drum. Alright, so I got my bass drum. I've got some padding, a nice pillow in there to kind of muffle the boingy sound, make it sound better. Alright, make sure you can see this. So, before we add the other toms on this bass drum, we want to make sure and secure it by putting its legs out. Most of the kits I gave out to you guys have this style where they're folded back. So go up to the big side with the hardware, not this one, not the little one by the foot. The bigger screw, loosen it and the leg will drop. You want it to point out towards the audience. So here's my out hole. So we want to face that. this way on the rug. You're going to secure these legs. Scoot this back so you can see me do this. Get the other leg out. Oh, there's Franklin. It's going to help. So, we want to make sure that these legs are nice and secure. So put them out, tighten them up. I like to wiggle it this way to kind of make sure it's set. You don't want it to rock. Tighten it up. Righty-tighty. Our legs are out and our drum is secure. It's not rocking back and forth. Go ahead and scoop this up. Boop. So remember, if your bass drum has a hole in the front, you've got it backwards. You want the hole facing the outside. You want a nice solid drum head for you to strike. Next, put on our kick pedal. This is what we hit the bass drum with. First thing we're gonna wanna do, kind of like the hi-hat, so we wanna get these prongs secured. So you can see those little holes on the side there, on each side. That's where these prongs are gonna go to secure the pedal, so it's not all wiggling around. So we've got it in the prongs, it's secure. Next, we're gonna take this part, it's like a little clamp, and we tighten it with this. A lot of them are similar. They might have the screw right underneath the pedal. So we're gonna take this, put this clamp onto the lip of our bass drum and tighten it so our pedal doesn't move around. So my clamp's nice and loose, lefty-loosey. Lift the drum a little bit, put it over the lip, tighten it up so it doesn't move around. All right, got a pedal. Next, we'll do our rack toms. So, some of you have rack toms that have each little individual arms. And some of you have a single piece that you hang the rack toms onto these prongs. So those are gonna go right in the center. You'll have one hole in the middle. You'll stick that in, tighten it up. Doesn't fit in mine, we won't put that on. For ours, just gonna do a little arm here. You wanna make sure that these screws are facing you. It's a lot easier to adjust that way. So I'll put it about, we'll start at that high. Then we're gonna tighten it here at the base. Nice and tight. Get our tom. Make sure you're putting it on the side that gets hit, not the cleaner side. So our receiving hole is nice and loose here. Slip it on there. Tighten it up. Turn this a little bit. There we go. On to our next one. So here we go. Remember, screws facing us. So the other arm in. Tighten that. Oh. Close to me. There we go. That's good. Then, your seat here, it's a little crunched in because I had to crunch it in for the camera angle. Normally I'd give myself a little bit more room than this to play. We got our floor tom here. Boop. ready to go. Last but not least, we're gonna put together our crash cymbal. Mine looks a little different than yours. It has an extra splash cymbal attached. Woo! But don't worry about that. So you've got your stand. It's folded up, right? So we're gonna fold out these legs nice and wide so it's secure. All right. I'm gonna put that down. And then I'm gonna bring up this bar to make it taller. Probably about there. Tighten it. Just like the hi-hat, you want to put the cymbal in between two pads. So we'll loosen this. Go grab my cymbal. La la la. Okay. Alrighty, got my crash cymbal, took off the pad and the nut, set the cymbal on there, boop. Put the pad in between, nice cymbal sandwich, put your wing nut back on, fly wing nut, fly. There we go, crash cymbal, ready to go. I'm gonna move this back here a little bit. And then, just place my snare about here. And my hi-hat over here. On my left leg, because I'm a right-handed player. And there we go. We have our assembled drum kit. Ready to rock. See if I can play this scrunched. Oh. It's gonna be a challenge. Oh yeah. Scoop this in. Bam. Now you can see that. Oh yeah. Oh hey, I know you hate it when I play drums. I'm sorry. Alright, that's enough of that. Franklin hates it when I play drums, so that's all. I guess we just get to put it together. I hope that helps. We'll see you at camp. Super excited to see y'all on the screen, and I hope you have a good time playing those drums.